Hello, welcome to the Bill and Kelly Show from the
beautiful Wild Rose Brewing Company in Griffith, Indiana.
Yeah. And Kelly, you want to do the intros?
Well, this is Rob, Trish, and Will,
Hey,
and we're part of the cast of the What the Hey variety show. It's kind of a vaudeville burlesque kind of thing that's coming up. It's a fundraiser, and we'll be talking all about it. But first, what I'd like to do is have each of our guests go through, introduce themselves, and tell you a little bit about who they are, where they're from, and how we all got to this part of our lives.
Okay. Well, my name's Rob. I'm the director for the show, What the Hey sketch variety show, and I'm also in a few of the sketches. I'm from St. John, Indiana, and right during the day I masquerade as a teller, and at night I do all kinds of other things. So
some we can talk about, and some we probably can't.
Probably not. Yeah.
I'm Trish. I'm one of the performers in the show. I've done community theater in the area for about 10 years now. I used to do a lot at CPCT. When that shut down in July of 2017, that was a really sad thing for me, especially because I live in DeMont, so it's hard for me to find community theater that is close for me to do. So I was really excited for the opportunity to do this show.
And my name's Will. I've been acting not quite as long as you, Trish. I think about 6 years in this area. I was 2 blocks away from the CPCT when it shut down, so it was a real big hit for me. Also, wow, it's already been 2 years since.
Oh yeah,
I guess technically 2 years. It's 2019 technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm a computer programmer by day. I do community theater, voice acting by night. Rob keeps casting me in his shows, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you, Rob.
And thank you for not turning them down.
And of course, you all know me. I'm Callie, and I'm also in the show. So I'm lucky enough to be friends with these guys and have worked with them in the past as well. So, all right, we'll start with Rob, since you're the director / everything else for this lovely thing. So tell us a little bit about what exactly we're doing here.
I think we're just sitting here talking and drinking.
Not here, but what we're going to be doing. What we're going to do here.
Oh, for the show itself. Of course.
Although we can continue doing that.
Well, we're doing this too.
It may make for great entertainment.
Yeah. Well, what the Hey variety show is? This is actually a benefit show that's being done with the Cedar Lake Knights of Columbus, and basically, this is the 8th time I've done it. Every year we do a show to try to raise money to help local organizations. We've done radio-style shows where we'll get 2 old-fashioned microphones and people will dress like they're from the 30s and 40s, the actors, and we'll recreate a radio show with sound effects. I've done a few plays, like straight plays with movement on stage like a real thing. But this is actually the first time I decided to do a vaudeville and variety show. Basically, the funds that are going to be collected from the show are going to go to 2 great organizations. One is Haven House, which is located in Hammond. It's a home for domestic victims and their children, and also Planning Possibilities, which helps other able adults develop skills they can use for workplaces or activities that they can do, like basketball, baseball, and other great activities. And this is actually the first time that we're using these 2, and the people that I spoke to about from both organizations are really excited about this opportunity. So this has actually been a long process. 2 of my, I guess you could say, co-producers, Dan and Jerry, we've been looking through these old sketches from books and websites, trying to figure out which ones we wanted to do. And then we said, all right, well, let's do it. I asked around, and that's how we got where we are.
Perfect. Trish, how did you get involved in this? And is this your first one here, or have you done more?
Well, this is my first benefit show for the Knights of Columbus. Like I said, mostly I did Crown Point Community Theater and that type of thing. I got involved because Rob contacted me and asked me to be in it, and I'm like, well, yes, I'm definitely looking for something to do right now, so I'll go ahead. It sounds like a great time, so I'm going to go ahead and get involved.
We thank you for driving all the way from DeMont to come not only here, but to all of our rehearsals.
It's not really that far.
I hope the reward of getting to throw a pie in my face and spray me with whipped cream will be enough when we actually do get those props.
Oh, definitely.
It's been a lot of anticipation so
Yes.
far, fake pieing each other.
That's
Yes, we've been doing a lot of this and pretending that there are pies in our hands.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting scene, just from an outside observer's. It's
Yeah, he's
The
got to see what it
choreography
looks
is,
like without the real pies, but it's going to be much more fun with the real
It's also the
pies.
first time I'm going to get to do a spit take. So spit takes and
there
pie
you go.
fights. I'm really excited about that.
Good old-fashioned slapstick physical humor.
Yeah.
Rob, can you tell our audience a little bit about what exactly is vaudeville and burlesque skits and what
Yeah.
they have to do with what we're doing?
Yeah, well, vaudeville is actually not the name of a city or a town. What that was is that back in the 1890s up until the 1930s, vaudeville was basically live entertainment, like live variety shows. Like a lot of major cities, like Chicago, New York, had a couple vaudeville theaters, and even some smaller communities like Whiting and Valparaiso had like one vaudeville house, and Muncie, Indiana. And basically every week you got to see 9 different acts. You got to see comedians, dancers, animal acts, magicians, a whole shebang. It was great fun for the whole family. Now, burlesque is a little bit different. It was definitely geared more towards adults. That one lasted into the 1950s, and basically adults would go in to watch mainly, I guess you could call them exotic acts or strip acts, whatever you want to call them. And there were always comedians there. The comedians were usually there to try and, stall for the audience while the girls changed for their next routine. Like it was usually comedy teams, and they'd usually do like stuff like Who's on First and other burlesque sketches. There was a lot of slapstick, a lot of physical comedy, and so that's pretty much what it was. A lot of great comedians came out of vaudeville and burlesque. Classic ones like the Three Stooges, the Marx Brothers, Charlie Chaplin, Edwin, Stan Laurel, Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, and Burt Lahr who played the Cowardly Lion in Wizard of Oz was a burlesque and vaudeville comedian. So that's how
Very
that came
cool.
from. Yeah.
If I were king.
I know, right?
That's all I ever think of when I think of them, but still. Okay, so when exactly is this going to be happening in beautiful Cedar Lake, and how do people get tickets, or how much are tickets, and all that good stuff?
Yes, well, we're doing 2 performances, Saturday, January 19th at 7 p.m., and we're doing a matinee on the 20th of January at 2 p.m. The address I have right here, I just want to make sure it's right. The hall is located at 13039 Wicker Avenue, also known as US 41 in Cedar Lake. It's next to Great Oaks. Tickets are $8 for adults. We do have a $6 price for people 12 and under, but honestly, I don't
Is
recommend
it
little
6
kids.
or 4?
Oh, it is 4. I'm sorry. Yeah, it is
That's
$4.
okay. All
So
of a sudden, I'm like, wait,
yeah,
it says 4.
4.
Worked
Yeah.
very hard on this poster, but we don't have it completely memorized.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
We're too busy memorizing our scripts, you
yeah.
know.
I probably
Scripts,
would.
yes.
I probably wouldn't recommend.
Poster.
I wouldn't really recommend little kids for that, because there, even though there's some clean humor, there's also some double entendre humor, like Mae West and some other stuff
Is
that I
there a
don't.
banana in your pocket, or are you happy to see me?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'd recommend little
There's a little
kids to it. Yeah.
innuendo in some of them.
Then there's a
All
lot
this-
of innuendo in others of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
quite
get
a
a
bit.
That's why you brought Kelly into the show, right?
Yeah,
All
right.
the sketchy.
Hey, Trisha's the one that's good. I'm just saying. You know, she's
got
an
$3,000 in
artiste. That's
Philadelphia. You
right.
gotta
You gotta
be
be good. So we know.
Yeah, well, I mean, the show's made up of a great, talented cast. I'm really pleased everybody could participate in it. It's always great, because this
So-
is always challenging.
Besides who's here, who else is going to be in the cast?
Well, the show is being hosted by Mike Puente of WBEZ. This is, I think, like the 5th time he's worked with me on some production, and I remember I said, I'm looking for a host for the show. Would you like to do it? And he texted me back in capital letters, yes. And so,
I didn't know that.
I
yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah, it is great. So
Mike's the best.
he hosted last year's show where we did Sherlock Holmes on the Air, where we recreated old radio shows of Sherlock Holmes, and one of the sponsors was a wine company, and he always still references the wine company once in a while. He actually did that Sunday.
Oh my God, so amazing. Yeah, Petri wine.
Yeah, Petri wine.
Yeah.
Petri wine.
Yeah,
I've never wanted to drink it more.
Yeah, and I don't think they exist anymore. That's too bad.
And I don't drink wine, so it's doubly impressive.
I know.
Yeah. We also have Jerry Jackson. He did the show for me last year, and Dan Janik, and I believe that rounds everyone up. If not, I'll hear about it at next rehearsal.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, Will,
Yes.
Tell us about some of the other things that you have done in the past, theater-wise.
Well, most recently, I was in a production of. I was in the Chicago Street Theater's production of. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name. The one with Much Ado About Nothing. That's the
you
one.
know, that weird little Shakespeare thing nobody's ever heard of. Is that the one?
Right.
Okay.
The one. I played the villain, Don John. I got to be very chewing the scenery evil, and it was incredibly satisfying.
That's why you do so well in the one, a skit that we have where you kind of chew the scenery a little. That's perfect.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Other than that, like I said, I did a lot of acting with the CPCT in the past, including a couple roles where I got to play Picasso, which was also fantastic, and C.S. Lewis, talking to Sigmund Freud, which was wonderful. I'm always super grateful to everybody who worked at that theater
Yeah, they're amazing.
to get such amazing productions.
You were a lawyer for me twice.
That's true, yeah. I got to lose 2 trials under the direction of Rob. The first one, the second one, I was just defending a murderer. The second one I was prosecuting a murderer, and he got away. And the first one I was defending Nazis, and they.
Well, that's good to know.
And I've also had the pleasure of doing a number of the previous charity shows with Rob, including a bunch of radio dramas, which were always a total gas. We did a Christmas Carol, and I got to be several of my favorite ghosts of Christmas, past, present, future. Oh,
No, you were Marley too.
yeah, and Marley.
Andrew was the future.
Marley and present.
Yeah.
My favorite characters in that whole play. And thank you, Rob, for giving me the chance to dish out some amazing lines.
And I know you've also done some things with Hammond Community Theater and Beatniks as well.
Yeah, I got to. I think my favorite thing from there was Wait Until Dark, where I had 2 scenes. One was a real scene, the other one I run on stage at the end of the play. But I managed to make an impression of people running on stage as such that they said, "Wow, you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah. It's a play about my wife. It's a play about my wife getting conned, and at the end she might be dead. I'm gonna run on stage." But that was also a wonderful production.
Yeah, it was. And Trish, how about you? Before
Well-
you go chugging.
The first show I ever did, like I said, I've been doing this for about 10 years. The first show I ever did was A Midsummer Night's Dream at Crown Point Community Theater. We set it in the 1950s, and I was one of the fairies, Peas Blossom, Cobweb, Moth, and Mustard Seed, and we were a little doo-wop singing group. Most of the work I've done has been in musicals. For CPCT, I did Back to the 80s, which was a jukebox musical with all 80s songs. I did Godspell at CPCT when we did it, and we kind of did a rock and roll motif with it, which was a lot of fun. I also did a couple shows with Valparaiso Theatrical Company too. One with Will. We were in Almost Maine together.
Almost.
Oh,
Maine.
that was one of the most fun
Great.
shows.
That
Seeing
was
the thing.
wonderful.
Yes.
A tornado of clothes.
Deer. Moose.
Roadkill.
Oh, that was
That
great.
was a great show. I remember coming to see
And
that.
I've done other Shakespeare too. I was in Hamlet.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, right. I was in Hamlet and I was in Othello when CPCT did those shows. So I've done all kinds of different stuff.
Great. And Rob, how about you? Some of the things that you've done and some of the things that you've directed.
Okay, well, let's see. The recent acting job I did was in Crown Point's community theater production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where I played a patient in the background. Let's see, directing-wise, besides doing these 8 shows, I did 2 shows at Crown Point Community Theater's courtroom productions that were done with the Courthouse Foundation. One of them was Anatomy of a Murder, and the other one was Judgment in Nuremberg. And somehow I was always involved in, I think, 6 out of the 8 shows they did in one capacity or another, whether it was acting or directing or assistant directing or something.
And those are always such fun because they do them in the old courthouse downtown.
And it makes you feel like you're there.
Yeah, it really does. And then the money goes back to a good cause, not only to the theater, but to the foundation for the courthouse, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I've done all kinds of shows. I did some shows with Larkin CL, which is a dinner theater in Cedar Lake, which is our neighbor at the Knights Hall, by the way. Angie's been a great help. She's lent a lot of stuff to us. So
Yes, Paul and Angie Lowe are awesome. We love them.
yeah, they're doing True West, I think it's called. It's going to be in a couple months. I don't know the exact date though, but they were great to helping me out. So I can't thank them enough. So yeah,
Wonderful.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to him about that.
Yeah, we'll actually be talking to Paul and Angie and getting some interviews with some of the actors from that show as well that we'll be bringing you later on. All right, Rob, anything else exciting that you want to tell our audience about this upcoming show?
I think you'll have a great time. We put a lot of hard work into it. I think it's great to see this, a combination of, slapstick, physical comedy, wordplay, puns, and I think it'll be great. Everybody that's in the show seems to be having a great time. The people that have come to kind of get a sneak preview seem to really like what we're doing, and the Knights are excited to be doing another benefit show. I think come check it out. It's great fun. I think it's going to be great entertainment, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So,
and then we'll also have a bake sale kind of thing going on, but it's donation only. Is that it?
Yeah. Every year we do. It's a tradition with the benefit shows to have a Goodwill bake sale where the cast brings some stuff in and people will take it, make a donation. We'll have popcorn for sale as well. The bar will be open, so after a couple drinks, hopefully these jokes will be funny.
Not only will the show be funnier, but I'll look better if you have a couple of drinks. I'm just saying, fuzzy eyes make me look better.
So
Here's
please
to
come
that.
check it out. Yeah, so come check it out, please.
Here.
And no, we will not have any strippers in the show.
No, there are no strippers in the show. I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
Maybe some raunchy
I
jokes,
thought-
but
No, don't think. So thank you guys so much. I hope that we will all get to see you out in the audience. Come and support us hardworking actors that are going to be doing this for you, and come support two wonderful charities here in Lake County. We can't wait to see you in our audience. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
And goodbye for now. We'll